Welcome to Dovecraft Country, the podcast, hosted by Goddess Love Jones, DKA X Factor, DKA Bad and Bougie, DKA my special sister Coco. I'm your other host, Black Chanel, DKA the Guru, DKA the General, DKA Red Panther, DKA Chanel. And this is a podcast where two divas talk to you about the HBO series Lovecraft Country. So this episode is very special because it is our second attempt at talking about this episode, because the first attempt was extremely chaotic.
That is a good word for it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. The episode is crazy.
It really is.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah, let's not even summarize it because
it's some crazy shit. But so basically, we tried to do the method we tried in episode 4, which worked great, which was watch it as we go. But we were like, let's watch it live. Let's do live reactions. And it was a lot of us just staring at the screen with our mouths open. And we recognized that doesn't work well for audio. So after really trying, we said, okay, you know what? Sometimes best laid plans, we're going to try it again. And so, yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, how do you feel about redoing episode 5, Coco?
I feel good about it because I definitely felt very on edge when we tried to talk last time, and I was like, I can't even think. I can't even make connections in my brain because I'm still reliving the trauma of this episode.
Yeah, like dead ass. So I think we are still gonna try something different, because we are going to recap the less wild parts of the episode in chronological order, and then go to the wild part of the episode. So if you watch it, it will not be in order, but the story will still be the same in terms of what happens before and after. And because that's how much we think you need time to just get your mind right. That's really what it comes down to. So the second half of the episode is all about a couple characters, and the beginning half of the episode is about our favorite characters, or the people that we're starting to know are what the story is about. So do you remember? And also just note for the listeners that we are doing this from such an organic place, meaning we're just going to talk about it in a however we can. So do you remember the first scene, the reaction to what Montrose did?
Yeah, the first scene was them. Montrose actually is the first person you see when it gets to his part, and he's sitting in a chair in the room where the orrery was, and he's looking at his dirty fingernails, and you're just like, oh well, we know what happened. We're not confused.
I guess that was the room. That's so funny, because I was like, I actually was confused about the location. So now that you say that,
I mean, I'm not sure actually, but I assume because the other rooms are board.
No, that was it. Because that's
rented.
where the boarders came. I was like, oh, those are his neighbors. But anyway, So go ahead. So what happens?
So he's sitting in the room by himself, and it's kind of weird that Tick and Letty just walk in there, because there's no understanding that he would have slept in that room because there's no bed. And so he could be anywhere. Why would he assume that both Montrose...
Well, I mean, I feel like maybe they just knew that's the room they had been having the talks in, because it seemed like it was okay, we just went and did some stuff that needs to happen. We're back now. Hey, okay, let's figure this out. It's almost like they left, went to their rooms and went to sleep, and then he was there. So, I mean, he also might have been assigned. He might have been assigned to watch over her.
Oh, maybe they were supposed to do shifts or something.
That would make more sense, because then they're just hey. So they find this two-spirit who is maybe will guide them through, but is really scared because they don't trust yet because of what Titus Braithwaite did to them. So they were imprisoned in their skeleton with, I think, other Native people. It was almost like a scene that was there once, and it was weird. It was in a ship, basically as if Titus brought them, the two-spirit Yaima and their family, and then trapped them and then killed them, and then they were there forever. And so long story short is that they all had to leave that area, and they were keeping Yahima safe, or they thought. So anyway, they come in like thinking, okay, we're gonna do this, and Montrose is like, oh, they're gone, and they're like, oh, you mean like
down the street, like they went to the store, they went
yeah,
for
like
hair.
I want annihilators. Why didn't say nothing? He's like, nah, he's like, nah, like gone. And they were like, what about the pages? He was like, gone. And I'm like, this nigga burnt the pages?
Right, he's just lying. Like
Really
Montrose
heavy.
he's not a good liar, but he'll do it
Yeah,
at the drop of a dime.
when we first came out, you were like, he's just lying. Like, he's like,
They're gone. Pages gone. That's it. No explanation. Not they took the pages with them, not the
yeah,
pages didn't make it, not I couldn't
or,
find them in the morning, just pages gone. I don't know, gone.
yeah,
What else
exactly.
do
And
you want
so,
me to tell you?
so it takes a
To make you
it takes
believe this.
a half a second. And Tick catches what's happening and lights that nigga up, period.
Ooh,
Like,
Tick.
beat that.
Wow, he was bleeding and bloody. Which it's like, oh, is this how you got beat as a child? Like,
Yeah, this is
that's
all of the beatings he took
crazy.
as a child. And one, I have cause to whip your ass right now because this is deep. So I'm gonna let it out. And his daddy just took it. I guess maybe I feel like maybe he even had his own feeling about that, or his own like guilt around it. Like, I feel like, I'm sure because of how the show is acting that we're gonna find out that Montrose had all the good, like Montrose really did know something that was worth it. Like, I feel like they're gonna justify it at the end. Like, he's not just gonna go out as like this big old villain. So I feel like he just took that beating because he knew how complicated it was, and so Letty literally had to pull Tick off of him.
Yeah, and she was not feeling it. She wasn't happy about that because I mean, she didn't probably make the connection between what
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was
Montrose really
behind.
did at first. She doesn't still see him as like a villain or like, protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's the other word? Antagonist.
Yeah.
So in this in this episode, so in the show, so it's still interesting that she's like, oh, Tick, how could you? I never thought that you could be so violent,
Mm-hmm.
which is funny because
Well,
he was in the war. It's
yeah,
like
he's a
he's
veteran.
killed people.
Well, he also, I mean, but yeah, he does give off. I don't remember if we said this out loud on this first attempt or on another episode, but he gives off like nice, but then you're like, wait a minute, actually he might be trash. Like, I don't even know. Like, he just doesn't talk a
Yeah,
lot, so you
for
think he's really
sure.
great. And so he did something that I think, not to harp on the fight, but like he did something that I never understand. Which when they pulled him off, he was like, "Get off of me," and I'm like, you were beating
You're
him. Like,
right.
I think they were helping you.
You're
Like,
assaulting someone.
yeah, people are always like, get off me. Like, and I always, for a second, I'm like convinced. I'm like, maybe they deserve to be able to, like, maybe if you start fighting, you just gotta finish. Like, I don't know. Like, I just can't really process somebody being
I don't
indignant
know.
about that. But like, people hate, I don't know. I just avoid shit like that.
They don't like to be restrained.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just like, yo, once you cross over a certain point, like, people can get hurt. Like, I don't think we ever really think about, like, you could kill somebody.
You can,
Anyway,
yeah.
so this the other half of part of that scene, going back to how Letty is surprised. Like, they go into the basement, and Tick is like going off like, where's the pages, have we taken pictures, like what the fuck, because Tick is like, yo, like, I don't know what to do, like, we're in
Right.
trouble. And so he is like on 12 though, and so she comes downstairs, she's like, you gotta stop, and he won't calm down, and then they have a tense like standoff for a second. I'm like, what's that? And then you look down, and the bitch had a bat in her hand. So she was like that scared of him. She was like, you gotta calm down. I don't know what you're gonna do. You might turn on me.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, it makes more sense that she thinks that way because she has no idea why she didn't put two and two together that he did something to Yahima. So
Right.
yeah. So anyway, so that's the first beat of them all just like struggling with well, what do we do now and how do we process this?
It's funny because we were like separating this into the light and the dark, but this is not light.
Oh, this is
There's
the
only like
lighter.
2 minutes of light.
This is lighter. It's like
Lighter.
yeah, that's what it is. Because it's like, I mean, yeah, like the show is some
This
dark shit. Let's
episode
be
was,
clear.
yeah, the show was dark, but this episode was a lot. It was layered in
For a
darkness.
fact.
Um,
So next
What
week for
happens
them,
after that?
yeah. So for them, they're like Tick is working. We didn't know where he was working at, but now that I think about it, I think it was in the bookshop, like because the bookshop has that like garage in the middle where they park Woody, and so it was like he was on the side on some tables doing some research, and she came in and Tick is like, my bad, like I'm glad you pulled him off of me, which is hilarious, but like I'm glad you put him off of me and pull me off of him. And and she was like, "Why would you do that? What the fuck?" And mind you, when I paraphrase, this is not what they said. This is
She was like, "Why you put on her voice?"
Yeah, she was like, "Boy, stop!" No, I'm just like, yeah,
Literally, boy, stop.
like just know you got to rewatch some shit, basically. But yeah. So she pulls him out, and she's like, "Oh, why would you do that?" And then he's like, "Bitch, your human's gone, like she's dead." She was like, "Oh." It was like,
Whoa.
oh,
Dead? What do
yeah.
you mean? I thought she went to the corner store.
And she's like, I mean, I just thought she ran out on us. Like, but what's so funny about it is that it's like,
Okay, where's she gonna go?
it's
She
like,
only got one
yeah,
outfit,
it's like,
no shoes,
period. Okay, so with a silk kimono, like whatever they had them wear. But you
no
know
panties.
what's so funny about it is that so me and my ex went to go see Ex Machina in theaters. Have you ever heard them? You seen it? So that shit had us both in the theaters like freaked out. Like we was like,
Now it makes me want to go watch it again. That movie was really good.
it was like Kill Bill noises the whole time in our heads. We was like, what are we like? This shit is scary. So anyway, at the end of the movie, I remember just being like, this something about this movie felt bad to my spirit. It made me anxious. And so I guess maybe it was because like the contained nature of it. But anyway, at the end, sorry to spoil it, but this is years ago. The
You should
droid,
have seen it.
the AI living thing, just walks out, kills the person that made it, walks out into the just is like basically they have the Ex Machina has passed the test to be like the Turing test to be human. Like you can't tell if they're computer or not. So they just walk out into the world and just go about their life and no one knows. Like they delete their existence of, like they can go live and be human. And it's like, ooh, interesting. And so then my ex turns to me and it's like, if you don't think they're making a sequel off of this, like they got a droid in the AI in the world living whatever. And so anyway, I just imagine that's how your human walked out. Like, all right, so I guess like Sears is hiring, so I'm gonna go take some ESL classes.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Just walk in like, yeah, I'm just mute. I'm, a grown ass person, but I'm just mute. Can you help me learn
or
English?
not to bring up somebody who's so divisive, but this is such a okay, so asterisk. There's one thing that Tekashi 69 did that I really enjoyed. And that was, they told the nigga he couldn't go to summer jams because he was too violent and gonna create a ruckus. So he dyed his hair. No, he didn't dye. I don't know. He just summed his hair. Like now that we know it's a lace front, I don't know what he did, but he painted his hair black and put makeup on over his face tattoos and tried to sneak in as some regular.
I did not know that.
Because if you can imagine, like this is back before all the snitching, all the jail, all the racketeering. So it's just like imagine one of the hotter New York rappers at the time comes in from the crowd with makeup covering the saw tattoos in the face. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Like he was like, oh, it's not me. Like I know I got tribal markings everywhere on my body.
Almost
like,
just choked.
I'm sorry.
She said,
like I put Maybelline on over it, and I promise you, it's not me. So anyway, that's the universe I imagine. So in my heart, Yahima is out there just working a job, working hard for the city.
Could be, she might be teaching English. She might be doing everything.
Anyway, so this is the lightest scene in the whole show.
Oh, then they burn a hole. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
Wait, you know that movie Deliver Us from Eva, Ava, when Gabrielle Union, she talks about the first date with LL Cool J's character, and then she's like, it was nice. We went to dinner. Then he walked me home. Then I let him come inside, and then we burned a hole in the ground. No? I know some viewers are gonna be like, I know that scene.
No, I remembered it, but I wanted you to finish it.
I love that movie. That
That
is
was the
we
lead
don't
up.
talk about that movie enough. That
It was
movie
a
is
real
great.
slow lead up. It was. I mean, we don't talk about LL Cool J being like the man for a minute. LL Cool J used to have it. Wow. Also, long-standing career in hip hop. That's kind of crazy. He released like
Yeah.
24. He released more music than Too Short. Okay. Anyway,
We're
sorry.
gonna talk crossover
Yeah.
appeal.
I just feel like today we're just digging. You know what? We're digging in because we're gonna miss some details. We're avoiding right now. We're avoiding because there's more to come.
Yes.
Anyway, so
So
yes,
anyway,
they
yeah,
knocked the boots. It was
yeah,
hot. It was hot.
hot and
It was.
heavy.
That's when I started to realize, like, I identify as like on the Kinsey scale. I identify as mostly heterosexual, and I was like, to every angle. I was like, okay, I'm not mad at anything I'm seeing right now. Like, I was happy for her. I was happy for that. I was hoping that as characters, that was a enjoyable. I'm just hoping everyone
As
was happy.
actors, as real life
Yeah,
people.
I meant actors, and I said characters.
Yeah, I knew what you
LOL.
meant.
But it
Mm-hmm.
was like a more, you know, they don't do enough consent in shows for me, but it was more of like a sensual, like, we're going to do this slow, like, you're not just coming in deciding that you're gonna like, because I feel like when he did it in episode 4, he was just like kind of laying claim to her almost.
Right.
3 or 4, like he was just trying to, I think it was 3 actually, believe that's how crazy, that's how far along it was. He was kind of like, laying claim, like, yeah, Tree said he wants you, but I got you, this, you're not about to be dancing for niggas in front of me.
Right.
This was
No,
like,
that was
oh,
episode
like
2.
3, because it's when it about to pop.
You're right. You're right.
2 was still in Fittsville. But yeah, so basically, I just thought that was like, okay, that was an improvement. Like, the relationship is kind of progressing, but we know how Tick is still. So, I mean, I
And
did
just
think
felt
that,
like
like,
Letitia got some of her power back in that moment.
right, because this is her second time, and I'm just like, sis, you are way more comfortable than I was my second time, because I was just like, I don't know where the brake or the pedal is. Like, this is
The second time was, for me, worse than the first time. Or not worse, but it was more like,
yeah, it was just the first time was, whoa, buddy, we really didn't discuss any of this. This is we really just like, ooh, can I
now
say
that I got my wits about me.
yeah, can I say no now? Like, when, at what point could I have said no? Like, this is a lot. Anyway, not saying he forced her. I'm just
Not
saying,
he, no,
like,
not here.
but
Here nor
something
there.
being that middle ground where it's like, um,
It's really, that's really how to describe it.
like,
That's
like,
interesting.
no harm, no foul. Like, if she said she needed it and he needed it, then okay. But like, in somebody's book, that wasn't good. Like, in somebody's book, that was too a little bit too
Not enough. Yeah.
what's the porn site for veterans in a 1930s Chicago home? I'm sure that's like a
Um,
xxvets.com. That's what that was.
Blue Book.
Okay.
I don't know.
Back to okay, so then the next scene is
What is next? Okay, well, this is the next
now we
scene.
get into
Oh yeah, Montrose.
Montrose. Yeah. So you want to talk about what your thoughts were
So
on this?
Montrose. He's
Oh, because he got his
turning
ass
out to
beat.
be
Yeah.
the Tariq of Lovecraft. If you've seen Power.
I would not say that because I feel like people hate Tariq. And well, okay, people hate
And
Montrose, but
okay.
Michael
Always sabotaging things.
But Michael K. Williams is another type of actor, so it's like you can never really hate him. That's the kind of
Oh,
problem I
he's
have.
like
Like,
actually a good actor.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like basically like when like Idris started being a villain, and you were like, Idris,
Come
but he
on.
was on The Office. He was a villain on The Office, but it's like Idris, like, come on, bro,
He
like,
was in the
huh?
he was in the office?
Okay, so this is definitely what I want to talk about now. So so the Office, the U.S. Office version. I don't know if he was ever in the U.K. I think it was too old for him, but like there was this amazing at the end. There was this amazing season where Steve Carell was like, "All right, I'm not the man." Spoiler: Steve Carell was like, "I'm not about to manage no more." And mind you, like the thing about the Office that is so crazy is like how Steve Carell like would just do something so physically awkward it would be painful. You would be like, I know this is fake, but I am in pain watching him. It would just be so bad. So anyway, he like got fired or took a break or left the job or whatever. And so they kept having different managers coming in from corporate or like people interviewing. So like Ricky Gervais, who I believe was in the UK version, came. Idris was one. A bunch of different white actors that I can't remember their names. Jim Carrey came to interview. It was just like they had a hilarious episode where a bunch of people just came in to play random weird characters and like just, anyway. Will Ferrell was in it. Will Ferrell was the manager for like an episode or something. It was amazing. It was an amazing show. Sorry. So yes, Idris was but on The Office it was like he was so serious, and so like he didn't like Jim. And some people hate Jim, but Jim is like supposed to be like the nice guy, like the funny guy. And every time Jim tried, he just be like, "What is that? Why would you do that? Why would you say that?" Like it's just like he didn't give him no purchase, which I love that for him. Anyway, so Idris is a villain, but you're still like, that's Idris Elba. Come on, man, you got the penguin walk. Don't do that.
I have to watch The Office now. Well, I'm gonna watch the last few episodes. But okay, so Montrose comes in.
I would say this: The Office, like many shows, is not as funny if you don't start from the beginning. Not because it's not funny, but it's funny because it's hilarious. But it's not like some shows you could just pick up and watch. Oh, LOL. No, because you see how these characters develop over time. Like there's some characters that only do one thing per episode, but that is the funniest thing in the world because you know the character. So you got to commit. Anyway, next my podcast is gonna be about The Office.
Yeah. Next time I take a week off, I'll do like a binge of The Office or some other series. But okay, Montrose comes into the scene and he's not at his home. He opens the door, or someone opens the door, and it turns out to be, I immediately noticed Sammy from the Denmark Bessie bar.
And I immediately was like, oh, it's a guy.
Who is in the middle of getting dressed. And there's some other people in there. If you don't remember Sammy, he's the one that was getting topped off behind the bar.
No, yes, that is Sammy. But no, this first scene, Montrose knocks on the door, Sammy answers, and he says nothing.
You're right. I'm sorry, there's two scenes. Ooh, spoiler. Anyway, you already seen it. The first time that they see each other, Sammy's just in there, and it's really no words. It's like, because Montrose is beat up. He's
like, what happened? Who was
like
it?
A little bit bloody and a little and puffy.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. One eye can't open. He's swollen. He looked crazy. So Sammy is like, oh my God, come in. Like, tell me what happened. And he's like, let me help you. He's got ice. He's got a rag. And then it's just like, I don't want to talk about it. And they move into a very aggressive sex scene.
Belt buckles immediately.
So it's really aggressive.
Literally,
like, damn, like, are you enjoying this? I think at one point Montrose uses saliva as lube, and it's just like, I know that can't be good. But I don't know, because actually I don't know. But
yeah, it was like he spilled. He spit. It was okay. Two. Let's see, how do I describe? Two scenes where it was a masked person hitting it from the back or going in anal. Say that.
Mask?
And like masculine, yeah.
Oh, mask. Okay,
yeah, gotcha. And one was this show, the other one was P-Valley. And in P-Valley during that scene, you saw a little bit of spit, and then I was like, okay, great. Use that as lube. Now, is that enough lube for anal sex? No. Don't ever let a TV show have you thinking a little bit of spit is not going to ruin you for the next week. I need you to have
not enough.
You need so much lubricant. I don't know how I know this, but I know you need so much lubricant. In this show, Montrose spit the thickest, most disgusting. I said, that would offend me. I would be like, did you just cough up grossness into my boot? No, that would be what bothered me about that. I'd be like, you could
Not
be
into my booty.
I'm like, you could be rough, you could be all of that. And I know that stuff comes out of there, but I'm telling you, that grossed me out. That made me say, of all the, we're gonna get through a lot of disgusting stuff. That right there had me like, Montrose is a monster. So
She's a monster. That is funny. Yeah. So it was.
but then the one part at the end, remember?
Oh yeah. So then they switch places. So we're like, damn.
No. Sorry. Let me let you finish.
Go ahead.
Well, because he like goes, oh, okay. After this like rough scene, Sammy's like, okay, I want to kiss.
Oh, and then he's like, no.
Dub. And we're like, damn.
Dub.
But then he goes down.
Not dub. That's so terrible. If that ever happens to me in real life, dub. I will.
Yeah, you have to fight.
I've decided to pass away.
You know, I'm like, oh, you're gonna be like, Chanel, I can't believe you added to the domestic violence epidemic. Why would you do that? I'd be like, he dubbed me. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
We understand.
You were well within your rights. Yeah, no charges. Your Honor, I'm a freak bitch. I had to.
That phrase is gonna come up. It's gonna keep coming up.
That's
Your Honor, I'm a freak bitch.
How do you plead?
Crying.
Meg,
oh,
what? You like handcuffs? Well, guess what? 3 years. I it was a joke. You never heard this. I know you see this side. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Oh my God. You know what? I appreciate us being able to weave in WAP into more serious topics.
Did you
love it.
Video that somebody sent around of it's not funny because jail is so terrible and black bodies are being imprisoned. It's the new Jim Crow, the new slavery. But it was this man in jail and the judge said, do you have a statement? And he started singing.
Yeah, he goes, I can't even remember. I'm thinking of a different song.
I'm so sorry. I learned my lesson. And it's like, it was beautiful, but it was also like, and it was like, because I'm black, I know that came from his soul. And because I'm black, I'm like, that's not going to work. Tragedy.
There's nothing about that. There's no plea. It was no, I've learned my lesson. It was, I just wanted to tell you.
See, this is coming from two people who've made up songs before and it's been like, hi, how are you? I just want to say hi. Anyway.
Wait. Oh my God. Yeah. So, okay.
So they don't kiss. He goes down.
I can't stop. Hi, how are you? I just wanted to make sure you're having a great day. Oh my God. I hope.
I never forget us.
I hope one of our divas catches this.
Yeah,
but it's very relevant, so we understand.
Very purposeful conversation. Very purposeful.
But anyway, so back to the reason that you would be going to jail. So Montrose dubs Sammy's kiss, but Sammy is like, okay, fine. But then Montrose, I got some for you.
Yeah, Montrose goes down and gives him sloppy toppy.
Yeah, so Montrose does reciprocate.
When we watched it, Coco literally goes, oh, okay. I was like, wait,
no. It wasn't like that. I was like, oh, okay.
And then that is how you did it. But I was just laughing because I'm like, it is like, what's on the hierarchy? Is receiving head better than kiss? Where does it? And none of that is gonna overwrite the loogie and the booty. So I just can't.
But loogie and the booty.
It's gonna go past that.
Yeah, it's because it still hurts, you know.
Okay, next scene.
Anyway, so
go to the ball. Oh yeah, back to them group. They're getting dressed. So the next scene with them is in the
next scene with them, and we're skipping some crucial parts that we're going to come to because also traumatizing, but maybe need to be told consecutively for you to really see what it's about. Yeah. So the next scene of Montrose and Sammy, they are getting dressed for the ball, which is like a drag ball. And there are some other friends in Sammy's room. Sammy's putting on makeup. Montrose is just drinking. He's just trying to catch the vibe. He's still like in his own world,
Laughing
really.
my ass off. He is trying to catch a vibe period because he's like,
Yeah,
"Bitch,
he's
this nigga beat my
still
ass."
eyes still swollen shut. Like, I
That shit
don't
hurt.
really know. But he was like, but I'm about to go out with my people. So this is when you really start to realize, because going back to when they were in the museum, Tree was like, oh, you know,
Yeah,
your father, it does go that way. Your father does like men,
yeah, he was.
whatever. He's
Yeah,
alluding to that. And Tick goes, oh, well, that's not me. I'm no sissy. And it's like, okay, you didn't have to go that far. But
the way you're like, okay, but you didn't have to. I just love that you're like, you tell
he
the
said it
story.
very like he
Yeah.
wasn't even thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I think that's like the least offensive but still offensive word they could have used, and I appreciate that they didn't need to get like gritty with it. But I also, and maybe it's because it's the time period, but I think that I think it's progressive that Tig doesn't care, even if he thinks something, he is not. I don't think like that has
he's like,
anything.
it doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, that's it.
He's gonna be more mad when he finds out about his daddy. Then, like, it's like when it
Yeah.
all comes together, the deception on Uncle George's part is probably gonna make him feel bad because he's gonna be like, "Wow, I would have treated Uncle George better," and X, Y, and Z. So anyway,
And I am assuming that sissy could have been a word that his father used on him.
sure, because I'm sure there's some internalization. Wow, you're bringing up another topic. And also, if you like the way that we are going off topic, we will be launching another podcast after the show is over that will be all off topic.
We got more to talk about.
Real quick, because you know what's so funny? I'm like, do we break this up in half? Like, what do we do? Because this episode is a fucking doozy. Okay, so Andrew Gillum. That's what this made me think of.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Oh, let me go
Definitely
ahead and say
one.
my opinion then.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Because before you say your part, because I don't know, have we talked about this?
We haven't, but I seen you tweet about it.
You see my take? Okay. I just want to cut you off because I was like, I don't want to be like, I don't agree. But long story short is that I hope it's true that his wife knew. Because if his wife is truly a partner and he let her know about his sexuality and she was cool with it, it's no longer our business. But secondly, all I wanted to mention was that you can't want womanism and Black feminism. You can't want like equal rights for us and not understand like the power of patriarchy and like all that masculine stuff and how that like hurts us. So if you know that how much it hurts women, you can't think that homophobia doesn't hurt Black men. And you can't think it doesn't hurt Black men who are cisgendered, like appear to be like appear in a very like, neutral way, are married. Like you can't think that doesn't hurt him. So I'm like, if you know how much it hurts him, you understand why he would lie. And you understand even, and I'm not saying people should be like hurting their spouse. I don't think you should get married if you're exploring your sexuality, just go for it. But I'm the fact that he could have lied the rest of his life, like so many Republicans do, so many people, like the fact he could have lied till the day he died. He said, you know what, bitch, I got caught. You, yeah, I'm a freak, bitch. Like he was just like
He
that's
was
it.
like, let me just
Let me just keep it real. He didn't have to do that. So I think that he didn't have to. No one has to out themselves to you, is what I guess I'm trying to say. And so like,
yeah, they don't.
yeah. So there was like
And
this.
for the news, like for the outlets to like do that, and also for outlets to be passing his picture around of him naked on the floor, like, is all very disrespectful.
Yeah, and
It's an
there was
invasion of privacy. It's disrespectful.
so somebody was dead ass trying to compare him and Offset, and they were like, "Oh, y'all." Somebody was trying to be funny. They're like, "Oh, you're not gonna compare them cheating and congratulate Offset," and it's like, one, it's not cheating if the wife is very aware. It's an open relationship, and that happens. Guess what? That happens all the time. Y'all are just so mad at the idea that a man would be honest with his wife and not to all men everywhere, or that he would dare betray the fraternity of masculine, straightness. Like it's
We
like
talked about this. We talked about that
I'm like,
fraternity.
you're so fucking hurt
Like the
by
barbershop.
yeah, it's like it's not your fucking business, period. And then we talked about that on the deleted episode. But anyway, I just think that I think that's why people were so upset, because it's like Offset cheated, his wife didn't know, he cheated multiple times. Like if my man's wife knew, that's it. If she didn't know, I'll be mad at her with him. But I also would know that like Offset cheating with a woman and he's straight and there's no identity issues there, he's just trash and wasn't ready for a relationship, is a way different internalization. And bringing it back to the show, we already have the scene where, you know, Uncle George is saying like, Montrose used to be so sweet, used to be so sensitive, and that all boys are sweet and sensitive. Let's be clear, all children are sweet and sensitive. But there's this, so I actually don't like that they said this, but there's like this idea that like he got the sweetness beat out of him, he got the sensitivity, he got the love beat out of him, he got the so he did beat Tick for sure. And it's like, was that his internalized hate? Of course it was.
Yep. Exactly. So then to bring it to back to this episode, when you see him and Sammy's relationship, which is like a secret relationship, but also like, and it brings us into his secret life where he actually is able to express himself, to be I don't even know, just to revert back to who he really wants to be and who he is on the inside. And you see him kind of like really just get taken away, swept up in the ball. He's got his arms out, he's dancing. He's not even like seeking attention or anything, just going pure vibes, no phones, just vibes. So I cannot
He
say
finally
it.
caught the vibe. He caught the
But
vibe.
seriously, that's all he was trying to do. And so he's really trying to like now embrace, and maybe we don't know how long he's been trying to embrace this part of him, but he's like trying to embrace that part of him. And I wonder how much like he struggles with that, like having any relationship with his son and or family, and then also embracing this side of himself as an adult. I'm sure that is a struggle, and I wonder if it will come up again. But that's basically the scene. You see Sammy is in drag and he's performing, but then Montrose is just vibing on the dance floor, and then has a moment with Sammy. They embrace, they kiss or something, and then he's still just dancing by himself afterwards, and he's chilling. This is his home. He's feeling
I feel like there was a Freebird moment. There was like I'm just gonna, and I really hope that what that means for him, because I don't know if we saw him again after that part of the episode.
I don't think so.
So what I really hope that means for him is that he's walking in his truth now, because to come out like that, like he didn't come out, but like to come out of himself like that in that moment, and then to go back in is so depressing. So I just hope that like he just embraces it. That's one thing. But for sure, totally agree. I think that's it. I think that that's what I get. Yeah, that's what I got for the light. Oh, and then with Tick and Letty, so there's sorry, we didn't tell you this. So before the sex scene with them, it initiated because Letty came back to say, okay, now that you're calm, I did take pictures of the pages.
Right.
So yeah, so they do have, so the pages are preserved somehow, and now they realize they have to, like, even though they needed Montrose, they have to either manage him very carefully or cut him out or like misdirect him. It's kind of like in the did you ever watch I Don't Fuck with Cats on Netflix?
No, but my roommate told me a little bit about it.
Yeah. Long story short is that at one point they realized that the investigation, the kind of like citizen detectives were investigating the Facebook group, and they realized there were leaks. And in hindsight, somebody in there was either like part of it or like was the perpetrator, like he was under a false account. And so they started to give misinformation in that group to suss stuff out. So they have to be strategic like that if they really want to do it. But I don't know how they're going to do it. So because I also don't like what they even pull from. Now they're going to need Christina.
Yeah.
You have to work with her, which and trust that bitch.
Yeah, and a few other things or not a few, but like one other thing is that they were deciphering some of the pages.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, they were able to see Tick's initials in his ring, the ring that he got when he went to the castle.
That was a cipher, yeah.
That was the first way that he was able to get some letters. And then there was some symbol, and they said what did it mean? Protection?
Yeah, they were basically figuring out like the thing that they asked, and I love the problem solving piece of this show, but basically like we can't assume, but maybe this is based on like the 26 letters of the alphabet, so there's 26 to decode. We've gotten a few of them, so yeah, they have protection. They had his initials, Atticus, Samuel, Freeman, which love that for him. Samson.
Samson, yeah.
Yeah, Samson, whose power was in his hair from the Bible. And then yeah. So, and then the last one they decipher is at the very end of the episode. But yeah, they
Yeah. So, so now we're moving on to the other really, really dark storyline.
Yeah. You know what's funny? It's like, how do we know it's so dark? Well, yeah, it's dark as fuck. Okay.
I mean, it could be dark to us.
Yeah, that's what somebody else is like, sis, this is chicken.
I personally felt like it started off dark and it continued to be dark. So
it was dark because it was gruesome, and it was dark because it was a thought experiment on like what other social experiment really on like what would you do if you had the chance to do blank. And it was like, this was not what I would do. Like,
it didn't feel good whether or not like, oh, this is like a take on how it could be. But well, let's get into it because we're like dancing around what it could be. What it was this is Ruby. So we left off with Ruby. Ruby was getting it on with William in somebody's home. We didn't know whose home it was.
But in hindsight, we realized that was the same. Because I was wondering, that was the same house that Christina had went into when William came back out and whipped them cops out.
Yeah. So exactly. It looked like it was a nice neighborhood, right?
Let me know when it's time to say my thought about William.
Oh, okay.
It's not yet.
So basically, what happened? What's her name?
Ruby?
Sorry, Ruby. Yeah, I got lost. And Ruby, Christina, William. Ruby wakes up in William's bed. Oh no! What happened is
remember Dee Dee
she
or
Dina, wake up in his bed.
Yeah. But like
Ruby wakes up in William's bed, but she's a white woman. That let me just throw it out there.
But she's not just a white woman. She's the white girl from the cottagecore scene who is very racist with the dog. So she's like Dina or something like that.
But she doesn't know who that is. So she's just
doesn't know. Like, but it's important for us because it's like they recycled a body. You know, that's like that person
weird.
worked for them. Yeah. So
and how do they know she died?
Wait a minute. Something just hit me.
What?
William is Christina's brother.
Oh. Why?
We'll come back to that. Okay, I'll come back. Because I think that just hit me. Okay, don't even forget. So I think that I assume that she died when Letty hit her in the head. That's why we're so surprised to see her, because Letty hit her dead in the head, like when she was about to shoot Tick and Uncle George. So she wakes up. We realize that that's Ruby because we hear Ruby's voice, and we're like, what the fuck? So Ruby wakes up and she's freaking out, and William's there, and William is like, hey, you're white. Here's your chance. I'm gonna give you a motherfucking stack, a bundle. I'm gonna give you a bunch of money. Go out and enjoy being white, and then we'll talk later and see how this goes. That's you can rewatch it, but that's basically what the fuck he said.
Literally, that's basically it. And she was like, huh?
So then instead of us, I don't know. At that point, I'm thinking like, I might have stayed home. What would you have done? I might have took that money and ran.
I don't know what I would have do. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm just like, cause she basically, like, at that point, I realized how alone Ruby is. Like, people aren't really, it's not like she's a famous artist. Like, she does.
Yeah, she doesn't have friends. She didn't have no one on the phone. Like, hey sis, oh my God, I woke up as a white woman.
Yeah, her and Letitia fell out, and then Letitia's like leaving her alone because she's worried about her own stuff. And it's just so crazy because I think we talked about this at the end of that episode when William approached her. It's like, she's out here left stranded. She doesn't know that she needs to be careful about stuff. So anyway, there's that.
She doesn't know who or what William is.
So she doesn't know that there's anything happening. She doesn't even know like her sister's changed, how much. She doesn't know, like, it's like they would have been able to avoid that fight if Letty didn't think that money came from her mom. Like, it's all kind of all tied together. So Ruby does what the option we did not say, which is she decides to walk around town, and they play a montage of her being a white woman and literally spending zero money. Literally everything she did, somebody gave it to her for free, which I don't think all women were experiencing that. Like, let's not act like white women just didn't pay anything everywhere they went. But like, she was that actress we found her name the first time, and I'm not looking it up again, but her actress was like amazing because she was really looking like, is anybody gonna see me? Like, she was really killing it. Yeah, she was killing it.
Really? I got this free ice cream? You got, okay.
She was like scared to cross the street. She was like, I'm just crossing the street and none of y'all looking at me. That's crazy, bro.
We missed a part though. What happened? Why was she in her bathrobe at first?
Because she was trying to go outside to see if it was real. Like she saw herself in a long mirror and then she went outside to see. Oh yeah, well she did go outside and run around in the neighborhood and she was in a black neighborhood and they were like, "Bitch, are you lost?" And she was like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
Ruby. I'm Ruby. They were like, "Bitch, you're crazy." And then a little boy, she bumped into a little black boy and the police came out of nowhere. They poofed. The police poofed and were like, "We're gonna, don't worry, man, we'll kill him." And she was like, she took a minute. This is what I'm saying. Ruby from the
She was
beginning, right?
like,
She
I don't know
looked,
what's happening. I don't know
yeah,
what's
she was like,
happening. Oh wait, they
she
about
was
to
like,
they about to lynch this boy. Let me just step
let
in
me
real
say
quick.
one thing. Hey, excuse me. She said,
He
excuse
didn't
me.
do anything. He was trying to
Yeah,
help.
leave him alone. Yeah, I'm like, girl, you could have used that power immediately. So she was already like, I understand a little bit of I'm confused because I think that if I woke up tomorrow as someone else, I truly don't know what I would do. But
I
I
would sit in
do.
the house for a week journaling on what I was gonna do with my new
That's
body.
what I'm saying. I'm like, especially because I can't call nobody. I'm like,
I
well,
have to think. I just have to think.
yeah, I'm just like, I don't even understand. Because especially like, ain't no sci-fi really back then. Like all, yeah. Anyway, I'd be like, something ain't right. So, anyway, so yeah, she like is using her power. I would say that her power, her white power. She's using it slowly, like she's like just walk around. So then, I'm mixing stuff up, but basically at one point she comes back to the house and she's turning back into herself, and it's a very
Yeah,
it's
it gets
like
gory.
it looks weird. Her body is like, it's like stuff is crawling inside of her body and forcing its way out, and so it's like very, oh no, see, yeah, this is why we have to go in order. So the police
Yeah.
grab her and then she's like, I don't know what happened, so and they said, oh man, we've been looking for you, your husband's looking for you. Like,
Right.
bitch, what? So she's in the car and they go to take her back and William is the one who picks her up. So he picks her up, she's screaming, she's like, what the fuck? He had already put out word to the police that she had mental issues, so ignore her, which it could be they fully know about her from the lodge, like you just really don't know.
Yeah.
So he brings her in the house and he
And then so she starts transforming. She starts doing this.
yeah, she's white lady now. Yeah.
She starts
Yeah,
shaking.
but it's
Then
like
you
there's
see
like
things
spit coming through
crawling
her
under.
skin. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
It
like
seems like a person or an animal or something's gonna come through her skin
it's
and
like
come
what's
out.
I'm trying to think what movie or what show it is when like it's like someone's like
Animorphs.
pet. LOL. I know Animorphs, and that's not what I'm referring to, but we can have a whole show about Animorphs. But like she like it's like this face like going through like the skin, and it's like you can see a face moving under the skin. That's how it felt. I don't know. It's like
It's like
alien or something
Harry
like that.
Potter.
It was Voldemort coming out of something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was. Anyway, but it's just like, oh, like I noticed something under there and I don't want to see it. So anyway, we're thinking like,
Exactly.
well, whatever's gonna happen.
I'm
And
thinking it's one of those monsters from the
dead ass, yeah, it's
thing.
one of
Like I was
the
thinking that
Thousand
they
Eyes thing.
made her into a white woman, but then they also made her a host for these monsters
Yeah,
that
she's
have
gonna
to
birth them.
grow
Yeah,
within your body.
yeah. But anyway,
But
sis.
little did I know.
And I thought this was interesting. They had a news clip playing that was talking about like African locusts and taking over, swarming somewhere, and how like they have to molt, they have to transform, they have to metamorphosis. So I was like, oh, the episode was called Strange Case, but I'm like, it's going to be about metamorphosis in some way. So basically, my homeboy takes a knife, splits her from the rooter to the literally chest dives her, and then just rips it down her middle. And we're like, this is, mind you, we told us out of order. This is the second scene.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the episode, and I said, no, he didn't kill her.
Yeah, we were
I'm
just
so
like,
confused. What do you need her for?
this was my comparison. I was like, this nigga is the first Dexter, and you hadn't watched
Right.
Dexter, but Dexter's a
Oh
show
yeah,
that,
because he had plastic laid out on the
yeah, he had
carpet.
the knives ready. I was like, Dexter was a good guy. Don't do this, William. So, anyway, yeah, so he kills her ass, and we're like, well, and then it goes to Letty, and we're like, well, I guess we'll see what happens. So,
Yeah, I'm like, I guess she's gone, but she comes back. So then we see Ruby in the bed when we get back to that scene, the next scene in the
chilling,
house. She's
calm.
laying there in silk sheets,
She's
knocked
confused. She's
out.
like, that was weird.
Right. And I'm like, I think it was weird too, Ruby. So then William goes on to say, like, yeah, basically I can do magic, and I have some magic that has to do with like metamorphosis and like butterfly transformation, and I met Hiram Epstein, who's the guy that owned the house Letty bought. And
The
he was
nasty
doing some
scientist.
crazy science too, and he's the one I learned this from. And
The
basically, I can turn
eugenicist.
you into who? Yeah, exactly. He was a eugenicist, and basically, I can turn you into whoever you want to be. And then he was like, "I'm gonna need a favor for you, but I'm gonna let you walk around as a white woman for as long as you want. Go do
Listen,
you."
and she said, huh.
She said, "Oh, say less."
Well, I know it's going to be probably some bullshit, but I'm going to do it anyway. And so she just jumped right in, took so there's a potion we see like
Oh
on
yeah.
there's something in a little thing that he gives her with the money. So yeah. So that's basically how we set it up. And then they go into this, again, we're chopping around, but they go into this montage where they read a poem from For Colored Girls.
It was weird. But
And
I was like, I get it.
oh, I totally get it, but I was like, I can't hear that and see a non-colored girl. It feels kind of, I don't love it. And I
Right.
love
It's
it.
very backwards for you to be reading this poem as she gallivants as a white woman.
Because it's like the idea is that she's doing that because of her struggles as a darker skinned Black woman in the 50s, but that doesn't,
That's not the
mind you,
consolation
I
that
am
I want to
I am
see.
overprivileged, but I just don't see it for myself. But I didn't grow up in that time. So shit, maybe it is like, that's how fucking bad it was. Bitch, I'll be white for a week if it means that. And she talked about that. Like she had some interesting dialogue with William where she's like, I just don't have to worry about it today, and that's like a relief that's priceless. So
The way she said it was like, basically like there's this life that she wants to live and she keeps pursuing it and keeps getting interrupted. And she's tired of getting interrupted. She wants to just be able to live the life she wants and that she's been working towards.
yeah,
I
I have a critique for her later because
mean, you might as well say it now because
oh no,
we.
I think it's when we get to the scene. So anyway, so she
Oh, okay, yeah.
so the second thing she does after getting like free ice cream is she goes
And
to
gets her job back.
Marshall motherfucking Fields. And the irony of this is not lost on me in this moment, where she goes to apply for a job with her exact same resume and is told that she's not just qualified, she should be assistant manager. So she walks in on day one and gets an assistant manager job. And she's like, So then, Tamara comes up, like and the manager's like, how do you feel about the colors? And she's like, they're cool. And I'm like, okay, like, mind you are a white woman. Like, you could just say, I'm good with them. Like, shut the fuck up. But she's
Yeah.
like, I'm blend in. I don't want to
She
ruin this.
thought someone was going to find out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
So
trifling.
she goes up to Tamara, and this is strike number 2 to where I'm like, I don't love this, the choices Ruby's making. So she basically quizzes Tamara,
Wait, who's Tamara?
the Black girl. The
Just
only
in,
black.
no, but just in
Oh
case
yes,
people didn't catch it from the
Tamara.
last
Yes, sorry. Tamara is the
episode.
only Black girl at Marshall Fields that quote unquote took the job that Ruby thought she was more qualified for, which she was technically more qualified for, but took the job. We find out later that that's maybe a blessing for Ruby. And so she is interviewing her like, all right, bitch. So I took 3 accounting classes. You had to take 1. Or like I took 1 typing class. I took 4 typing classes. You had to take 2. And she's like, oh girl, I got a 7th grade education. And Ruby said, but white Ruby was like, bitch. And so she like basically starts like going in on her and being really tough on her. And it's like, okay, like you're like, she said like some snide shit. And it was like, why are you mad? Like, it's as if like she really deserved that and wanted that. And I get that. But it's like, again, I'm not in that time, but I'm like, I thought that everything was a credit to us. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you got that. That's great. I'm gonna go over here and get this. It didn't seem very collaborative. It seemed like she just wanted her. And I'm not saying I don't get it. I'm not saying I want to be hard on her. I'm saying that like, it was like she was pressed about that job. And maybe it's because that felt like the only good job she could get at that time. And that was the only thing and she had worked very hard for that. So I'm not going to say that like, I don't understand a dream deferred, but it was just interesting because it's like, she was so willing to like accept their no that she like tried to put all of her stock into getting their yes. And when it didn't work, she didn't recognize it's not you, it's the system. So
Exactly.
yeah. So then they do the scene back where like, I guess like in the break room.
So yeah, I mean, I like kind of want to like skip through this, but they
Okay.
did the scene where she was in the break room, Ruby as
The other
the
white
white
woman.
woman, and she was with her colleagues who were under her because she's now the assistant manager.
They was
And
acting like everything was cool.
basically, Yeah, they were acting like things are cool, but they were like, we don't really fuck with the black people. Not gonna
Period.
hold you. We were upset. If we didn't have to work with them, with black people, we wouldn't. But we would hang out on the south side though. It seemed fun over there with their,
Just,
where
yeah.
they go clubbing.
I
But I
heard
don't want to
it's
work with them
crunk.
though.
That's too early.
It was it was ridiculous. It was just like, yeah, maybe Tamara could take us out to the
Yeah, they're
club
about to go on
where the
safari.
black guys are,
Yeah.
but I don't want to work with her though. I'm like, this
Yeah,
is not hood safari. Like,
that's the exact word in my head. Like in the same breath of calling her colored and she's whatever, they also want to play around in her place. And
exactly.
one thing that Ruby was doing that was suspect is like Ruby was like, "Oh yeah, trust me, like you don't want to deal with that shit." Also, Tamara's not qualified, and it was that's what kicked it off because she was like, "Yeah, she's not qualified." That's my only issue with her is she's not qualified, and it's like, well, of course not. She's a colored, and it's like, how are you comfortable talking to these white women?
Right. It's it's like when people are like, "Oh, someone told me this about you," and then you go, "It's weird that they're that comfortable telling you what they think about me."
Period.
It's
Yep.
the
And
same thing. It's like, why do you feel so comfortable
yeah, you
being
don't know
around
I'm
these
cool.
white women?
Yeah. So she was,
Very
I
true
mean, don't
base.
get me wrong. I'd be very careful about how clear I was that I was actually black on the inside. But I think that I like, you know what? I will say that like, I definitely had a separate thought of when I was younger, the things that I would do, like, or the jokes I would tell. I would never tell a joke about like black people, but I definitely don't think that I always was like, those are people are black, so don't say shit about them. Like I think I would like it wasn't like I was very cool with these white people and I was like letting them talk shit. It was just more like I don't think I really like stood up for everything all the time because like I was like you get tired. Then I also think I incorporate like as a comedian, I think I incorporated some jokes that like I was like, this is clearly what white men think are funny. And I thought it was funny too on some level. And so I just recognized in hindsight, like, again, nothing around race, but just recognizing like, wow, I really like you can really become complicit because you're just around them so much that it seeps in. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Not around race, but around just like blending into the culture and be like, it is what it is, whatever. And I think that's what's so dangerous. But I'm like, damn, this bitch did this after 3 hours.
Yeah, she was just like, what can
Yeah,
I
I'm
do?
cool.
What can I
Yeah.
say?
I
It is
mean,
what it is. I'm
literally
a white
went to
woman
work
today.
the next day. Where's her W-2? Where's her anyway? So
Yeah, I was just like, when did you apply?
yeah, LOL. So
Like,
yeah, they
when did
just
you send in your resume?
a handshake
There's
and a
no
resume.
email.
So then guess what? These hoes really go down to the south side.
They really freaking do. She's like, oh, because Ruby said it. She's like, well, you know what? Let's
White
get
Ruby.
Tamara
Yeah.
to take, yeah, White Ruby says, maybe we should get Tamara to take us down to wherever, to the
Oh,
to club.
this mini scene I missed. They're coming outside after getting off work, and who's waiting on her? William.
Oh
William in
yeah,
the
and they were
convertible.
jealous. They
They were
said,
like, "Bitch,
oh,
that's you?
literally.
Why you
And she said,
going on?"
yeah, that's me.
Yeah, she definitely flipped her hair that was up, and then
Um,
she wouldn't let him kiss her, which was weird. I'm just like, so are you black or white? Because if you're white, you don't have no problem with him kissing you.
right.
Oh wow, like you were so clearly into being white a second ago. You're not confused now. So then that's when I decided, oh, William is fine as fuck. Okay. Yeah. I smashed. Like, I was like, I smashed. Yeah. Okay, we got it. And
Little
I found out he's
tall
Scottish, which makes it even better.
in real life.
Yeah, definitely want me a European
Mm.
there. Yeah, because they're racist in a different way. It's like not as violent. So, so anyway,
That's
he's
why he
like,
plays this character so well.
yeah,
It's like
he's
it's
like
not really about race.
right? So time for this surprise, and it's like okay, or time for this favor.
Time for this thing. I'm just
I
kidding.
got something for you, nigga.
Right. He said, I got a gift for you. Why is it a maid's outfit? She said,
And
skirt.
she said, this is in Black Ruby size. So we go to a scene, and this is when we were so we were distracted by my Wi-Fi. So like this scene kind of flew by, but basically, Ruby is catering a lodge party, the police lodge, the local Chicago police lodge party. And what's crazy about that is like they really just thought that black people like didn't have ears. Like I hear like y'all
Yeah,
talking
like you
crazy.
walking in through all those important conversations, like and like completely ignore the staff. Like she walked
Yeah.
down the hall and it's actually kind of funny because she did turn for a second to be like, uh-oh, they might notice, and then it's like, ma'am, they are not paying you any mind.
Yeah, it's definitely like, people try to like gaslight invisibility, but it's like, of course we're invisible. We raised children invisibly, and like the generations of whites that are
Yeah.
around today, we raised them. So it's like, I don't expect them to see us, or like it's ingrained.
Yeah.
Same thing for like Latin people, other people of color, indigenous people. So anyway, yeah, so she is like, oh, so she meets Christina in the kitchen, and she's like, bitch, where you been at? It's an hour. William told me you would be here.
Just
And
like that too. She said, now I'm a white woman. I can talk to you how I want. Where have you been,
well, she was
bitch?
white. She was Ruby still.
I know, but
Oh yeah,
like
she was like,
she's
I
got
tasted
now
it.
the confidence of a
Yes.
35-year-old white
She said,
woman.
but she's also kind of like, okay, my man said you was gonna be here. So if you're gonna be here, I'm doing him a favor. I don't want to deal with you. We don't have no relationship. I'm dating him, okay? If I marry him, he's with me now. Like, that's basically what she was doing.
That's literally what happened. And Christina was like, pipe down. Hold on.
Period. Yeah, she was like, she definitely said pipe down. And then she gave her like a rock or something and was like, it was just, this is why I missed. Did you catch it?
Yeah, she gave her a rock, and I think it had the same symbol that Tick reads at the
Yeah,
end.
definitely
It's
some
like
monster.
something sinister, but
Some
basically
emphasis.
she's supposed to put it in the captain's drawer, and I don't remember exactly what it's supposed to do, but I feel like it's either supposed to like allow her to have access to the room or allow her to hear what conversations are going
If
on in the
not,
office. I feel like it might be about hearing what's going on in the
they
in
basically
the in the
substituting
office.
spy shit for witch shit because it's too early in the in technology.
Exactly. So she does make it down the hallway and plants this rock, this
Right.
like enchanted
But as
rock.
she's going, they're about to come in the room, the police chief and a couple
Yeah,
guys. So she says, oh shit, and she does what we
she has
always
to
see,
hide.
hides in the
She
closet.
hides in a closet, but then there's a man
Chained
like
up
chained up and like bruised and bloody in the
and
closet.
coughing up blood, like dying basically. And she's
Yeah.
like, so she hear them come in and she's like, oh shit, we both got. So she covering her mouth and covering his, which is crazy because he's like,
And she's like, you don't shut up.
she's like, you gonna get us both killed. And it's like, first of all, do you think he snuck himself in there? Like, that's hilarious. Like, what is he?
Right.
He just hid in there and got caught too. So
He's
they
literally handcuffed to the pole.
yeah, so she was trying to quiet him and he finally made noise, and then it was like, oh, what are they gonna do? And they were like, LOL, you hear him back there, we're gonna fuck him up later. I was like, Lord,
Right. I'm
fix
like,
it,
this is
Jesus.
so evil.
And I'm not
There's like
surprised.
there's magic evil, and then there's pure racism.
Remember when Christina first came to the police station and we heard moaning and we were like, what is that?
Oh yeah.
They've been
So
doing that
either
shit
it's
for
the
a minute.
same man or they just be beating
Stringing
niggas
niggas
up
up.
every
Hey,
day.
and we know they string niggas. And this man was white, by the way, but we know they string people up.
Right. Right.
So the next day, White Ruby goes into work, and Dawn. Why am I thinking about Dawn?
Oh, we forgot that
From Danny
part in
Kane.
at
What
the
am I
club.
thinking? Why do I keep thinking Dawn? I don't know what Cameron makes
We
you think of.
forgot the part at the end when
Yeah.
before they leave the club.
No, that was before. I think that was mixed in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So real quick. So this is right before the club. But yeah, I think we put it because I feel like because she was mad at Tamara before this happened. So anyway,
Gotcha.
she's so mad at Tamara. She goes into work. She sees Tamara put the shoes wrong or something, and she comes in snapping at her. And I'm like, sis, like, I don't think any of us loves the
No.
Black woman with more tenure who snaps at us just because we're so dumb and so wrong. Like,
And I felt that because I think that like there was a point when you started to hear like you're black, so you need to be like, besides
credit to
hearing
it.
it at home, yeah, like especially like going to school and stuff, it's just like you have to be this and you have to be that, and you don't have the time to be this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, I'm tired though. I'm tired of this shit. We've gotten into good schools. We've gotten to high heights. And at the end of the day, it's the system. At the end of the day,
I'm just
like,
laughing because I'm like, imagine how much we don't understand.
I know, I know,
You know
I
what I
know.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to give us their perspective from like having lived the shit. But then it's like, okay, but let's put it in perspective of like racism and like the systems of oppression that we're like really dealing with. And it's just like, me getting to class 2 minutes early is not going to be the difference in
Ooh, now that's a
my
word. No,
grade.
that is a word. I don't want to talk about real life jobs right now. So let's just leave that word.
Yeah.
This will come back up. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so she's like basically snapping on her. And I was like, what? But she says what you says, but then she goes beyond that. She goes, because even white people do crazy stuff to each other. Like they'll have each other in closets dying. And we were like,
oh, girl, you
you're
are
snapping. Like, sis, let it go. Like, I don't know. I just, again,
she was trying to project something onto Tamara that Tamara was like, I don't think this has anything to do with me.
Ma'am, I can't even read. So I don't know what the
She said 7th grade.
Yeah, I understand. And black schools. So I know 1, 2,
We
3, 4,
had
5.
one book for
Yeah.
grade 3 through 7.
Yeah. So stop with me. But yeah, so she basically is snapping on her, and it's like it's very much giving displaced anger and displaced, because that's the only person you now have power over. So you're gonna internalize that. And I'm not saying like that's a thing. That's not a black thing. That's a byproduct of slavery. That's a byproduct of that like mental conditioning of like, as soon as you get some, that's byproduct of capitalism. As soon as you get some power, you shit on the next person. So
any type of oppression, really.
Period. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. So anyway, yeah. So after that, Tamara has to take them. Watch her real name be Dawn. Tamara has to take them all to the club, which
South Side. It was uncomfortable. It was
not
awkward.
cute.
It was like, I felt bad, but she said, listen, I'm going to get these drinks. I'm going to take some shots. I don't know why these girls want to come to this club, but
I really hope they don't see me, but you know what? I'm just going to be in the corner. It was just like so uncomfortable. And it was like, I'm not saying that, I mean, it'll be uncomfortable today. Her name was, anyway, it would just be uncomfortable today because it's like, we're going through too much. And the thing that I hated was that they got up to go dance and niggas was just ready to dance. And I was like, y'all are too nice. Why are y'all so nice?
It goes back to when Ruby first was coming out into town as a white woman. Before she gets all the compliments and stuff, when she's in the robe, people are like, are you okay? Can we help you? Do. But if it was a black woman in a white neighborhood, they would have been like, you nasty bitch. Why are you naked? Call the police. Take her away. Exactly. Charge her. She tried to flash us. Like, there would be no, are you okay? No, can we help you? No. Hey, are you lost? No. Are you, like,
we're
nothing.
Taught to be docile for a fact.
Exactly. And it's the same in the club, how they get the same attention, where it's not like,
it's like, it's all
good?
fun.
Like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, do you want to dance? Do you want to drink? How can we accommodate you in our safari?
Laughing my ass up. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like, it is one of the things that when people say like, why does interracial dating bother you? It's like, dude, like there's these things like affect us. Like there's like, it spreads almost like it's almost like we can only be so proud and so strong. Like that's how I think that you reduce our strength, is by like those subtle things, those very small things and I'm not saying that I'm paranoid about white people in our neighborhoods. I'm just saying that like, if I was a black man, I would not be comfortable around any white woman at that day and time, because as soon as they get caught, you're gonna die. Like it's literally that the wages are death. So anyway, I just wanted to
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to shout out that Tamara's real name is Sibongile Nyambo, and the white Ruby was the character originally was Dell, the one with the dogs, and that actress's name is Jamie Newman.
Right. And what I was going to say about like interracial, interpersonal interactions during that time and even today, you just never know what the consequences are going to be. And so it's not that, oh, I look at it and I'm like, ew. I look at it like, it's really, are you okay? Yeah. Like, are you okay when you go home with this person? Are you okay when you walk into their parents' home? Are you okay, like, with the way that they treat you? Are you being fetishized? Are you like this, that, and the third? It's like, it's not that I think about all those things in like separate thoughts, but it's just the fear of like, are you okay? Like, I don't know if I would be okay, so I can't guarantee that you're okay. So I can't jump into being like, yay! I have to be like on guard.
Yeah,
for the
I mean, I
culture,
think,
low key.
yeah, I
But
really,
then after you find out, okay, things are good, it's like, okay, things are good, great.
yeah, I wonder if I could deal with it. Yeah, it's also just, you know what? I think this is a great topic for the other podcast because
It
deep,
is.
deep, 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 deep.
It's deep.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, but there was a point that I want to talk about where that is a little bit of a cheat back to the other thing. So when they were arguing about the pages, and Tick was looking for the pages, and Letitia wouldn't admit that she had them still. Letitia said, you know, this shit is corrupting us. Like this shit is, it's the devil. Like this is demonic shit. And I don't know if I want to put it all in. I mean, I do think there's devil work. Okay, what am I saying? That's the whole idea is that William has the serpent tattoo. We keep saying, what does that mean? I really think it's like this is the devil. Like, but anyway,
Yeah.
it is corrupting them, and I think that shows. And
We ain't seen no one them go to church, so
yeah, right.
it
Yeah,
wasn't no crosses in that castle.
Facts, yeah. So it's like, I mean, they make fun of Christians, but it's like, yeah, like they're corrupt. They're like the only person that we see on earth is the devil in that instance. But yeah. So it's just that corruption idea because I think that it's Ruby's corrupted by it directly, but she doesn't even realize how close she is to it. So anyway, so they go out in the club and Ruby starts to get the clumps thing again, where like she about to transform back like they did in the clumps. So
we haven't really described that and how gory it was, but it goes from the things crawling under the skin to the skin actually falling off. Like it escalates to where it's just like bubbling skin, literally like repelling off of body parts, and then it from there is another skin born. It's really gross and disgusting looking. And then
do
it's
you
just
think I
like,
can?
go ahead.
I was
I was
just
gonna
gonna say I
say,
could play
oh, do you think you can play a clip? Yeah. You
of
wanna
the
play
Nutty
it?
Professor.
Oh, what?
I just want to see. I just, for my own sake, want to see. Is it still what? Is it what I thought it was?
when the Nutty Professor does a transformation.
And here comes beautiful Jada Pinkett Smith. Wow, just never flawed, never been flawed.
Right.
Because this is exactly it. They're comfortable. It's like, oh, look at that. It's her wig. That's definitely a wig. I don't love that.
Yeah, for
Wigs were
sure.
different back then. Is Eddie
The
Murphy so cute?
bob, not the bang. Who?
Eddie Murphy cute.
I don't know, because he used to really play some fine characters, and then I think he just plays silly characters, and that's why. But I think he does have some charm to him.
I want a man.
To his
Yeah, look
look.
at that. I want a man to look at me like that after we. Oh, look. Look
He's
at.
about to start shaking. Oh my
He
God,
like,
not
oh,
the
you
lip.
not. Oh, my lip.
Oh, I must have an allergic reaction. I
This is a
haven't seen this
goat
movie in a long
scene, bro.
time.
Yes, I'm like, now I want it because this nigga play like 12. Not the button. This man played. Look at him. Imagine the date.
He said, "Oh, I gotta go."
Coco, imagine the date when a man has a different body type the next time you see him.
Yeah, I wouldn't know how to
I just imagine myself laughing
handle
at the
it.
story. I just like at no point would I think, oh, the nigga figured out a scientific formula to change his body type so he doesn't
No,
have to be overweight anymore. Okay, let's see.
never.
This is not what it looked like. I just really wanted to know. I wanted to. Yeah, it's kind of like this though. It's this idea of like your skin. Oh shit, your skin is being filled up from under, and it's like, what are we doing? So anyway, I just thank you for indulging me because I miss everything about those movies. It's gross.
Yeah. And so now they're at the club and she runs out because she starts to transform. And when she transforms, she realizes she hears something, and it's some man talking about, "Let me smell it. Just let me smell it."
And
I
you
was
were
like,
now
"What?
smell it. Yeah.
Not at
He was
this
like, I heard
time,
y'all are sweet
sir."
down there, and it is the manager that hired her so quickly, pushing camera up against the wall, trying to molest her. Well, he molests her, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Nigga, get the fuck off." So she pushes him off, which good on her, even though it's okay. Like if you aren't able to do that, that's understandable. But she does that, and Ruby sees it. Black Ruby now, who by the way has a coat on. It's just we were
Yeah,
just
I was
like,
like, you
why she
ran out
don't?
with the coat, put the coat to the side, and said, "I'm gonna transform because I know I'm not gonna have no clothes
Yeah,
after this
like
happens,
some of the
and then I'll put the
logistics aren't working
coat
for
back
me.
on. No shoes, but I got a coat. It's
Yeah, I
fine."
don't know, but it's just like because it's like and Ruby is thick, like she can't wear no little coat and be covered. So I'm like, you're gonna show some skin anyway. So
Exactly.
she was like, oh okay. So then we have a scene with William where she's like, this shit's fucked up, and he's basically like, I didn't give it to you just so you could be. Oh no, Christina said this, no? But basically, she has a scene where she sees Christina. Christina comes, I don't remember where they were, but Christina finds her. And she's like, where my man at? And she's like, it's just me, sis, don't worry. And so she's like, okay, well, what's going on? This shit is weird. Like, I need more solution or whatever. And Christina was like, you didn't get this just to be white. You got this to have power. Like, what will you do?
Right.
Like, do something. And then me and Coco were like, well, shit, what will we do with it? And it is not what she does now.
It is not at all. Woo! So she goes back to the store and she basically seduces her manager. She's like, because after seeing him molest Tamara or assault her,
Yep,
she's
both.
like, oh, I'm not having it. I'm going to have to do something about this. But not something like, oh, I'm going to scare him. No,
Yeah,
she's going to do
so it
something
yeah,
about
so
it.
it kept going. It was slow. So like at first we were like, well, maybe she's just gonna seduce the nigga and like, give him blue balls. And then it's like, oh no, she's gonna set him
Or
up.
like embarrass him, like, oh, like
Yeah,
lock him
like he was
outside of his office with his
with his
down.
dick out. Yeah, but then I was like, well, maybe she's gonna literally strangle him and make it look like autoerotic asphyxiation. I'm like, oh, she might kill this nigga. But none of the above. Not
No,
one of the
you
above.
got this one.
This is also a thing. This is not the most important thing, but in their like foreplay, she she lets him suck on her stiletto heel, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
this is the second most disgusting thing I've seen in this episode. Why are you sucking the dirt off the ground?
Not the dirt. I want you to suck the dirt off my shoe.
I mean, I know they're like kink, but you know what? I'm not gonna kink shame, but that's a kink that I'm ashamed of. So they, so basically, you want to say what she does? Because I'm not.
Nope. Okay. What do you call that? She
Oh, I got it. No, she
pale
sodomizes. She's both.
sodomizes. Yeah, she sticks the
Take sex
stiletto
in.
into his asshole
Period. And not just
repeatedly,
once. Yeah,
multiple times, like
she
10,
chop suey's it.
like 10 times.
She
He's alive.
she chisels
He's
it.
he's awake.
But she stuffed her panties in his mouth so he can't even scream that loud.
Yeah.
And she fucks him up, and as she fucks him up, she transforms. So now he has blood
Yeah.
and guts and skin all over her.
Yeah.
And um
And then she says, oh, because when Tamara ran away the night before, he goes, yeah, whatever, you nigger bitch. Like that, nigger bitch.
something like
And
that.
then Ruby, when after she transforms and after she sticks the stiletto in his ass multiple times, she goes, well, I wanted you to see that a nigger bitch did this to you. But it's not even good because
It
it's
don't
like,
feel like redemption.
you're going to let this man live now with this
Yeah,
trauma,
she killed his ass.
and any black person that he sees, it's not going to be, oh, I'm afraid of you. It's going to be, oh, I have the power to
Fuck you up
murder
for
you on
real.
sight for anything. It's
And I
just
never
going to
trust a
like,
nigga bitch again.
exactly. I think that
Speaking
it's
of
just going
that
to
insult,
provide more fuel to that fire, and that's
speaking of the
unfortunate.
insult, I've definitely been called the N word by white men in passing, like as in like they were driving by and yelled it. But when I think about like how much that would not hurt my feelings, like I'm just like that just is so nasty for you. I hate that for you, but like
Yeah, I feel that.
you
I
hurt
do
my
hate
feelings
that
because
for
I'm not
them.
that. And
It's
also
like,
I
you
am
really
that.
needed to say that?
I'm both. Like I'm all of it. I'm like I'm that and I'm not. And what is that? But your definition of it has nothing to do with my identification as either one. So not that I identify
Yeah.
that, but you know what I'm saying. So anyway, that was and then we talked about this too. Like it didn't feel like she did that for Tamara. I think she kind of used the
Did that for
sodomy as an
herself.
excuse. Like it was a connection to the sexual assault, but she definitely did it because. The reason why I said that she really should be grateful is because he clearly hired who he wanted to fuck and who he thought would be dumb enough. He's not going to take advantage of a black woman who like knows what she's doing. Not saying that he's that woke about it or that like knowledgeable, but I definitely think that it's a great example of the read I had for her basically was that she was the one who was saying that if more people thought like her, the Black race would be doing better. Meaning, if more people pushed themselves and tried to make their application strong and did all the work for that, she didn't get what she needed out of that. And so, like, her trying to make Tamara come up to her credentials and like Tamara deserves ridicule, she doesn't have that. It's like, or you should reset your sights. I'm not saying the system will work in your favor, but I'm saying that like you're traumatizing yourself by not accepting that if that space is not for you, you don't want to work there. You don't want to pioneer everywhere. You didn't want Ruby to pioneer in that neighborhood. You wanted to play it safe. So why do you think you want to pioneer and be the only Black woman in this? You're gonna deal with shit every day. But
That
I
is
know
key.
but unfortunately somebody had to do it. So I'm not saying I feel like I'm coming off harsh on her, but I was very irritated because I felt like everything she did was coming from a place of like, I'm letting this out on because she never talked to them white women like that.
Yep. Nope. She never criticized anybody else, but she felt like, oh, I'm going to criticize you for your credentials. It's like, or you could build her up.
Period. Yeah, you could.
Like you could you could build her up and make her what she needs to be to get to the next level, or find some loophole to promote her.
Sure, GED. I don't know if they had it back then.
Some type of good karma, but no, you didn't want to leave it off like that.
So I would say like this is the second to last thing. So she's at home, which home is now William's place. And so one thing that had happened, and I brought this up earlier, I'm gonna tie it back around, was that when her and Christina were chatting in the kitchen at the lodge party, which again, it's like, Christina, how you gonna hate my side the club? You can't even get in. Like, why are you there? And so she was telling him, like, my brother William.
Oh, yeah.
She said that magic brought William back from the dead after they shot him in his back because he wanted to take over his rightful lodge. And this is why I think that's her brother, because I just put it together. So Dell was murdered, and so they could use her body because she won't pop back up anywhere. So I just thought William was made up. Now I think William was her brother who some lodge members killed to, like, get his birthright. So maybe that is literally her brother who she transformed into to perform the menly duties. And then it's just kind of like that. I don't know when the timing is. I don't know if that story is even true, but that's the only way that I think, like, okay, they look very much alike, not just because because obviously you don't have to look like the person you transform into, because white Ruby and Black Ruby look very different. So that's my theory now. But anyway, so Black Ruby is sitting at home mad as fuck because she's like, something ain't right, and y'all got this room in the basement you niggas keep going into, and I can't get it. So, which is like not which is the least of her worries. But she's like, look, like,
you in their home. There's so many things you could be worried about. But she's like, the basement.
How about the case you just caught? But anyway, yeah. So William comes in, and William's like, hey, honey, so happy to be on. And she's like, you need to come in right now because we need to talk about this basement situation and what the fuck, why are you doing? He's like, whoa, I just need a second. Just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Like, basically,
he was like, no, we're going to have this conversation now.
You gotta use the bathroom and somebody wants to be like, no. Hey,
when you have explosive diarrhea.
You're like, hey, I gotta be right back.
It's really not going to be good.
I love it. Yeah, you just like, I just gotta go before they hear my stomach. So William tries. She's slowing him down. She arguing, and then
William starts transforming, and his skin starts peeling off, and it's
rough.
Christina
pops up,
and then Ruby's like, "See
now, bitch." So whoever pops up, whoever was the one who suggested that it would be Christina who was inside of him and that they were the same person, you win a trophy.
Yeah, exactly. But what I want to know is, like, is there some way you can control how quickly you can do it? Because when William popped out, when the police cars were outside of their home, that transition was like, boom. It was so fast. So I'm just like, you have to, again, the blood and guts do not disappear. So you have to get clean. She had to put on a new outfit. She had to have a tailored suit and everything. And it was in like the split second.
Yeah, but I think she's definitely used to it. Because, I mean, even her, and it could just be like a camera, like a device that they use that's inconsistent. But like when she transformed way faster than what Ruby does anytime. Like, it's like right. Because Ruby said she feels like she's being unmade, and I feel like Christina now does this all the time. So
where it's just like, she was like,
brush your skirt off your shoulders, like, yeah, hello, hey, it's me. And so she was like, like she was like, wah, wah. Like she was just like, yeah, it's me. And I'm like, this is not no hijinks, bitch. Like you
Starting to
didn't
ruin the
tell her.
party.
What is going on here? Like,
Right.
I'm pretty sure Christina's gay. Not that she has to be gay, but I feel like she's gay. Just for two reasons. Because she also was flirting with Letty as William. But that's
right.
So there's that, and then the last scene is Tick.
Yes. So Tick, what happens? Because there's a he does he call Korea? He calls South Korea again.
Because he's working through the pages.
Yes, he's working through the pages. He sees the word die and or suffer. And he's like, what is this? Like, what are these pages? So that's interesting. It's definitely like, I want to know what's on the pages, because these are the ones that Titus stole from the book. I forget what the book is called, but anyway, it's from like the original spell book.
The book of
names, yes. So yeah, now Tick is just like, it just got real dark, it got real sinister. I didn't know what to expect in these pages. But now, for some reason, he's made a connection to this woman that he called in a previous episode in Korea. And we're thinking that she's like a witch of some kind, or she has some type of spell reading, making power. Maybe she's like a medium or something, but she was knowledgeable about something that he was going to experience. And so he tries to call, and then she's just like, she hangs up on him, I think, right?
Yeah, she like, basically it's like, because he's like, he's shaking. He's like, yo, like, what did you do?
How did you know?
Yeah, and she's like, nigga, I told your ass I was psychic. Like, it was just like that. Like, it was like, bitch, why are you calling me now? Like, I've been told you. But yeah, it's like,
you shouldn't have gone back. Did she say that?
Yeah,
you shouldn't have gone back.
Yeah, so I think that maybe she prophesied that he would die. And I'm just relieved, because I would have put money down that he strangled GI, or if that's GI, then that he strangled her because of how when she popped out the wardrobe. He did that in episode 2. But yeah, so I mean, now there's more elements, and maybe, so to come to predictions, maybe she is she's going to be an element to help him, because she's somehow connected or somehow knowledgeable. And so I just don't want them to have to rely on Christina or Montrose, because they will not get what they need to get from that. So as long as they have other resources that are knowledgeable and can advise them, they'll be it. So I'm thinking he's going to lean on her. I doubt he'll go to Korea, but maybe she'll show up. And then with Montrose, I'm really hoping, like we mentioned, that he is out now. He stays out the closet.
Yeah. I don't really have too many predictions, because it's just like so many like loose ends and like weird spots. But I do think that Ruby's gonna come up again.
For a fact.
And somehow gonna sabotage something by getting in the way, or she's gonna have to be saved, and that's gonna sabotage somehow what Tick and Letty are trying to get into. So that's something that I foresee.
Yeah, I definitely see her, like,
everything else I can't really
fighting with William. Yeah, they have to save her from William or Christina, or like Christina holds her hostage, or she just does something to fuck with William that fucks them up too. Like, just some type of shit. Like, just some type of shit, yeah. And we never saw Hippolyta this whole episode.
Yes, so and Hippolyta's heading back to Massachusetts. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. So I'm worried for her. Oh, I think that's what I was thinking. Yeah. I did want to know what happened to her, and I'm worried because, again, she doesn't have people out there. So I don't know what she's really gonna, what she thought she was gonna go find.
She might pull some out her sleeve. And then the only last detail I think that we missed was Tick and Letty kind of talked about the relationship, and basically Letty was like, you gotta really do this. Like, I thought we were building something, and you pulled back. He was like, I'm trash. So
typical.
I think they're gonna ship. I think they're gonna be together, but I
have to wait and see.
I'll tell you this: don't go back and forth with me, HBO. Misha Green, don't do this, because I'm just like, I'd rather them just have boundaries. I don't want this back and forth shit, because now they didn't kiss, they didn't made up, they didn't whatever. Let that be that.
Literally. Well, thank you for listening to us recap HBO's Lovecraft Country. Don't forget to let the Black woman in your life know that they are witty, cultured and worth your while, and read a book.
Read a book.
Word.
Spesh.